Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Number 3, Jordan Lampard. Number 4, Marko Jankovic. Number 18, Andrei Skopoulos. Number 22, Max Mikula. Number 23, Jacob Ilopoulos. Number 24, Noel Bernarda. Number 26, Campbell Davidson. Number 28, Thierry Papadelatru. Number 31, Ethan O'Sullivan. And number 49, Angus Angelatos. Substitutes for cell number 7, Izvia Singh Dillon. Number 30, Ilya Shalamov Trenkova. Number 34, Thomas Killick. Number 37, George Sastriavos. Number 39, George Angelatos. And number 50, Jake Brown. To the home team, Dandenong Thunder. In goals, number 1, Dennis Marta. Number 2, Toby Abani. Number 4, Stephen Ismaili. Number 5, Messi Mehmeti. Number 6, Jack Morton. Number 7, Jackson Corky Perkins. Number 8, George Mells. Number 11, Ali Soleimani. Number 12, Jay Romanovsky. Number 14, Hassan Jolla. Number 23, Lak Maniak. Substitutes for the Dandenong Thunder, number 10, Joseph Nanwami. Number 15, Parker Williams.
Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Well, it's round 6 of Senol NPLM Victoria, coming live this evening from JVS Stadium in Melbourne Southeast, the home of Dandenong Thunder Football Club, and we are in for a top of the, well, you could say kind of, Gary Parker, a top versus bottom clash here in round 6.
Yeah, I think it's. I think you've got to be impressed with what South Melbourne have done so far this season. They've got half their squad away, and in the Solomon Kings of the late equaliser overseas. They're here this week. They're still top of the NPL. They're looking to try and maintain that. They've had 3 wins, and Thunder, it's been a tough start for Adam and his side. They find themselves with only 1 point against Melbourne City, and they're really looking for stuff tonight. And last thing you need is injuries, and they've got a bag load of them tonight again. Yeah,
and my name is Bryce Ruthven, joined by Gary Parker tonight in commentary here from JVS Stadium. Let's take a look at the 2 lineups, starting with the away side. South Melbourne in goals. Xavier Lopez, number 1. Number 3, Jordan Lampard. The captain, number 4, Marko Jankovic. Number 18, Andre Skopoulos. Number 22, Max Mikla. Number 23, Jacob Eliopoulos. Number 24, Noel Bernarda. Number 26, Campbell Davison. Number 28, Thierry Papadimitriou. Number 31, Ethan O'Sullivan. And at number 49, Angus Angelotis. Number 17 on the bench, Isveer Singh Dillon. Also on the bench for South Melbourne, number 30, Eli Shanilov-Trenkova. Number 34, Thomas Killick. Number 37, George Saris Tavros. Number 39, Jerry Angelotis. And number 50, Jake Brown. For the home side, the Dandenong Thunder in goals, number 32, Dennis Martin. Number 2, Sabina Abani. Number 5, Mercer Mehmeti. Number 6, Jack Morton. Number 7, Jackson Courtney Perkins. Number 8, George Mills. Number 11, Ali Sulmani. Number 12, Jay Romanovsky. Number 14, Hassan Yalla. Number 23, Lat Maniak. Number 4, Sevdim Ismaili on the bench. Number 10, Joseph Naig-Wima. Number 15, Parker Williams. Number 16, Harry Phillips. Number 18, Dante Avian. Number 25, Oliver Yankolovsky. And number 79, Brandon Salavevsky. And as you can tell by the 2 lineups, Gary, you did allude to the fact that South Melbourne have been over in Honiara for the past week. Their squad have just returned to Australia, but obviously 2 games in the space of a week in Honiara in some trying conditions, I must say, from watching the games myself in the OFC Pro League. And they come here to a cooler evening, still quite warm, mind you, looking in the sun, but still a handful of top-line experienced players for South.
Yeah, they have. You look at the side that's there, so you've got Jankovic, who's been ever-present, Elopoulos, who's been there, Bernardi is another one that's, the ever-presence that they've actually had over this first 5 or 6 games that's been there, and Bernarda's there as well. So they've had that ability to mix their squad up a bit, but they've tried to keep a little bit of the core in there, and key players in central positions, which is always key for a side trying to get some consistency.
Yeah, Hadic is having an almighty task ahead of him, managing 2 leagues at the one time, but he's doing a good job, and South are doing quite well, sitting on top of the NPL Victoria and second in the OFC Pro League. So it's a great balancing act the South Melbourne coaching staff are doing so far. But if there was ever a night to get South Melbourne, tonight would be the night with respectfully, I say this, a weaker squad, but Dandenong Thunder have come into some injury troubles themselves and a fair few changes from last week, Gary.
Yeah, they certainly have. When you look around it, I think there's virtually only 5 players that are starting tonight that have played last week, which doesn't help the continuity. But sometimes when you're looking for results, and Thunder have only picked up 1 point, they're on the back of 4 defeats. Bit of freshness, players coming in with something to prove, and I'm sure Aaron Pick will be looking for a response from everybody.
Yeah, Jankovic goes long. Is a trait of the South Melbourne style of play. If you do watch them week in, week out, you can turn inside from Maniac. George Mills anchoring the midfield tonight for Thunder, and it's a chance on this left wing for Yalla. Receives the ball and gets inside the 18-yard box. Ball across, palmed away, not over yet. And a tame shot in the end from Jackson Courtney Perkins, but a hot start for the Thunder.
Yeah, it is, and they're the ones who are looking for a goal, and it's a great chance. It's a save by Lopez. He thought he might have held it. It falls out there, and Perkins got to do better, really. I think that's a glaring chance for Thunder in the early part of this game, just to settle them down.
And a good job there from Javi Lopez. It's a great surface here at JVS Stadium this year. It's had a lot of work done by Dandenong City Council, but the goal mouths are rather bumpy. watching the warm-up. So it's one thing to keep an eye on. Any of those on-the-deck balls inside the 6-yard box could cause some havoc, as we see Dennis Martin getting his first start of the campaign. Andy Withers, not on the team sheet tonight.
Yeah, he must be injured. He's been ever present in the first 5 games, but I think Martin just shown a little bit of nervousness there. The ball bobbled, he didn't really get a lot on it and spooned the ball up in the air, and realistically, it's just, you need a bit of calmness there.
Yeah, and you're a coach yourself, Gary, as the ball comes in from South Melbourne. It's cleared out by Romanovsky, and again from Sulmani, playing more central this evening. And just getting back to the point I was going to make, you being a coach with a raft of changes coming in, it sometimes can spark, and that's an obvious foul from Marko Jankovic. And a confrontation in front of the Dandy Thunder bench, right in front of our commentary position. You can kind of see what Jankovic was doing, trying to allude to something further happening. He's got a result.
It was a bit of a touch. Remember Bonucci in the European final against England when he just held on and held on and held on? It was one of those, he had to do it. Because until yellow was away, he was off. He had clear space in front of him.
It's probably the most obvious foul we'll see the Senol NPLM Victoria.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing: the Thunder shirts are very robust because he had a hold of it for a long, long time, and you can see it there. It was a little bit of afters, and I think Jankovic was just playing a little bit to try and take the pressure away from himself, but he got a deserved yellow card, and rightly so.
I was going to say, it might not surprise everyone watching that he did receive a yellow card, Marko Jankovic, for that one. And it'll be Mercer Mehmeti to deliver off the left foot, going towards the back post. Danger, not squashed just yet. Comes back to Mehmeti again. The wide ball out to Sulmani. He's got some space, does well to beat Angolotis. Ball just bouncing around the edge of the 18-yard box, and George Mel's trying to keep it inside, but an early ball down the line for the former Danny Thunder man in Bernarda. Tries to take on Dabina Abani in a left back role, and Bernarda is a man that's had a lot of success here at George Andrews Reserve, or now commonly known as JVS Stadium.
Thunder will be happy with the start. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to move the ball through the middle and get Soleimani on the ball as quick as he can in these wide areas. They've spoke to somebody with Thunder. They've set up in a 4-2-3-1, so they're trying to be compact.
The ball comes in from a wide spot, and it's just overhit. It's going to be kept in by Jordan Lampard, right on the corner position, and he'll win himself a throw-in. Thunder will be impressed with their start. We'll be impressed when the sun goes down, right, Gary? In about 10 minutes' time here.
Yeah, we're heading to the tail end of we're in autumn as the sun's starting to set a little bit, and we've got t-shirts on at the moment. I'm sure in about 20 minutes' time we'll be complaining how cold it is here.
We'll have a Kathmandu on, that's for sure, for the second half, as the ball is going to be the traditional long throw from Max Mikula. A lot spoken about this throw-in the OFC Pro League across all the clubs. It does come in very good weapon to have for South Melbourne.
Yeah, it's changed. It's come back in the game. It used to only be Rory Delap from Stoke that could throw the ball from the halfway line into the 6-yard box, but a lot of sides now are employing that because they're putting a lot of pressure and numbers in the 6-yard area, not giving goalkeepers a chance to see the ball quickly, and it's going to be really interesting.
It essentially becomes a set piece as we see Magnet riding the challenge of Lampard. He's doing well, Magnet, and it's a good start. And as I say that, he's blazed it over to the new roof in front of the clubhouse here at JBS Stadium.
Willing runner. The thing about Magnet, willing runner, physical, quite prepared to take a hit. You'll see here he's in, he picks up the ball, he contests it well, and then he's on. Little bump. Bit of composure you're looking for. You're thinking hang it up at the back stick, hangs it up in the main street of Dandenong.
And Harvey Lopez probably came to Melbourne South East night thinking it might be a bit of a calmer night for him, but he has definitely been the busier of the two goalkeepers this evening. As the ball sent up under the brand new lights, well, now a year old, so still newish, at Dandenong Thunder Soccer Club. And Lampard just finding the space. Skopoulos, who can drive inside. Comes back to Jankovic.
You know, with that early yellow card for Jankovic, I wouldn't be surprised if Thunder try and get as much ball to run at him as possible. You know, Suleimani to get at him, Maniac to get at him. He's one foul away.
Yeah, well, I think a great example was that last passage of play. Didn't really go fully committed to the challenge, where normally Marko Jankovic would. Apologies for the Fast and Furious 9 being filmed on the Dandenong bypass in the background, if you heard that. And now pause.
It's a good call, because you saw Thunder lay the ball there, because Jankovic has got to be really careful now. He can't really attack with his usual ferocity that he does, because he's just one missed time away. And
he does love the body work as the long throw comes in again from the opposite side, not as far as Mikola, but the chance to get a shot off. There was Thierry Papadimitriou with not a bad effort, the first of the night for South Melbourne.
Yeah, it's what we've just talked about, right? You know, they're throwing the ball in. You know, that's as you see, it's in. It's a good throw. It's contested. Thunder get numbers around the ball, but it just bobbles around and it falls. And I think it might be Jankovic who swung his leg at it. And you know, Martin will be happy to get a bit of calmness and try and get a decent follow through on his first kick of the night.
As Martin goes long, finds the head of Jankovic. And again, just sails into the safety of the Dandenong Thunder goalkeeper. Switching ball across. Does well to find his intended target, but the control from Jackson Courtney-Perkins has probably let him down there.
You watch Thunder play. They look as though they're trying to get through the lines really quickly. So, because they're playing 4-2-3-1, they're trying to flood a little area, and they can get one of the sixes to push into that second ball if it drops towards them. If it goes in behind, they're getting numbers to try and go there. Not trying to play through the middle, trying to play field position and turn south around at every opportunity and not let them get settled in this game.
Yeah, there's one thing that's a common trait amongst an Adam Pittick coach side, it's that he doesn't give his opposition an easy outlet at any opportunity across 90 minutes. So regardless of where the Thunder sit on the ladder at the moment, South are going to be in for a battle, especially away from home in Melbourne South East, as we see South try and regather possession again. They do well to find that opportunity down the line from Papadimitriou. Jankovic has got the space to drive forward. He's also got Skopoulos on his left, decides to use him. Gets inside the box, it's not a bad ball in. And again, Skopoulos trying to just win things over. Maniac goes to the ground, and that's a challenge.
Maniac's a willing runner. He's a willing runner. He's dropping in, he's picking ball, and you know, South's smart. It's smart. It's smart football. The ball's into the box there. Thunder get bodies around it. They get it up the pitch as quick as they can. Maniac is willing runner here, and the transitions just stop straight away. It's smart fouls, right areas of the field, no yellows, stop the momentum.
Yeah, Maniac's a bit of a tricky character to mark because he's got the height and the size that you mentioned, but he's actually quite quick for a taller player. Normally you get the height or you get the speed, but he's got a bit of both to him.
Yeah.
So.
And he's also got reasonable feet, quick feet. For someone who's got long legs that you know can cover the ground quickly, he's quite sharp with his feet as well.
So we're throwing from the grandstand side here. There's the Thunder looking just to get the ball promoted forward. It's turned over. Lampard continues his run with Skopoulos. Asks for it again. Jordan Lampard gets inside the box, rides the challenge, and the deflection actually worked out quite well for Jordan Lampard.
Skopoulos is the outlet for South at the moment. He's the man that's making yardage, and Thunder, I think, are just giving him a little bit too much space down this side of the field.
Mikola finds the space out left again. They drive inside from Skopoulos. The ball comes in. And you can see the intent for South Melbourne. The shot's going to be there. It's on target, but rather simple dealings from Dennis Martins in the end.
Yeah, Angelatis with the shot. It's pretty tame. You can see Martin can see it from a long way out. He just watches it in. Now people might think, oh, he's fumbled it. he knows he's got plenty of time. He knows that he can just take the sting off the ball and pick it up. It's not really what you class as a fumble from a goalkeeper. It's just smart.
And I think Sinister will be quite interested to see how his midfield works together tonight, because you're really missing that nucleus that's gone to Honiara and hasn't come back in time for this game, or more so probably being rested. It is kind of a midfield that probably haven't played together in a competitive game. So it's no doubt a train they've had this group out together, but still it's very different when you hit the pitch.
Yeah, listen, you can train as much as you like. It's it's game day that matters. Every coach tries to simulate as much game day situation as you can, but when you get out there, the pace is a bit quicker, the contact's a bit sharper, the spaces are closed quicker, so it just makes it difficult. But what Thunder are doing is they're not letting South get any rhythm into their game. They're trying to sort of play the game in the right areas of the field. They're turning South round, not giving them opportunities to win ball in critical central areas outside your own box. So you can see it's a bit of cagey game at the moment.
South Melbourne looking just maintain possession through Lampard. Doesn't get his intended target with that. The other thing too to take into consideration, Gary, is when you've got a core group of your strongest starting 11 out there mixed in with others, sometimes you might get a tendency for that core group to want to just play together.
Yeah, but it's one of those moments where, as a coach, you're telling the group of players, not just the core group, but the other group, to be brave. Don't always play there. If it's not on, don't play to them.
Yeah.
And you would ask the senior players in that core group as well to be smart enough to know, as we've said, there's only 4 of them here tonight. They're going to need the other 6 outfield players to help them. The 4 core players can't win this game on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. And a build-up of fouls is definitely starting to create some questions from the Dandenong Thunder bench. And another foul again. And I can tell you, Gary, I've called many of Dandenong Thunder South Melbourne games here at JBS Stadium in the past, and I don't think I've left off 90 minutes without some sort of major incident coming from it. So we'll see what happens over the course of the remaining 70 plus minutes. But
every bench, both benches have contested every call in every part of the field. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a game where could be decided by a mistake, could be decided by a piece of magic, But Thunder, when South have the ball, they're sitting off them a little bit, encouraging them to come forward. They're sitting probably in 2 banks of 4 and keeping 2 up front. So when you're working a bank of 4, you've got to make sure the spaces are correct. You've got to make sure everybody knows their job. And again, that's tough for Adam Piddock's side, because he's got so many changes tonight as well.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like they're trying to invite the Thunder to play, which might be out of their comfort zone because they've been so used to defending over the previous game. So it's an intriguing battle as the ball comes out to a lot of space, and Silmani has the space to get forward. Gets inside the box, strikes it. Lopez does well down to his right, and he's not happy, the South Melbourne goalkeeper, with his midfield, because they had a lot of room to play with. George Mells particularly in the middle. Yeah, Mells is a good ball. We'll see it here. He brings it down, steps inside. Suleimani's free. The South back 4 were out of position. Suleimani pulls the trigger, but Lopez, good hands. Really, really strong hands in that situation. But like all good goalkeepers, he's going to let everybody know who wasn't in the right place. Absolutely. It's his licence to do so when you're wearing
Gotta love the
a goalkeeper set of gloves, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not a bad crowd in attendance here on the only Senol NPLM Victoria game across Melbourne this evening. As we see Yella just happy to split the defenders here at the back and encourage South to play. Be forced to go long. Leopoulos has been in and out of the squad at various stages as they get inside the box to South Melbourne.
They've taken a few wrong options in the final third, South Melbourne. I think that's what Sinsel will be. He'll be really disappointed because they've found themselves in the wide area on at least 3 or 4 occasions, and the final ball or the option has been poor. And Thunder have managed to get bodies in and around that area. but you've got to be clinical. If you're going to find yourself in a wide area, you must have an outcome. It must either be a shot or at least the goalkeeper's being asked to work.
Sulmani with a good touch to bring it down. Finds Jay Romanovsky. He comes back to Ismaili. He's been at the club now, has Ismaili for a number of years. And George Mills, we're going to find Romanovsky again in front of the sponsors set up here at JVS Stadium. Does well to ride the challenge. And a clear foul not given by our referee. And this is an interesting one because South Melbourne aren't normally the sort of side to give away consistent fouls. They're quite a disciplined team, but tonight it's a bit of a different South Melbourne feel in terms of just happy to give away free kicks in non-dangerous areas, you could say.
Yeah, but you know what? They're combative and they're competitive at the moment. When people have got that opportunity to be included, like we've said, they're fighting on two fronts. Players are getting that opportunity to show themselves in the NPL that they might not have been, they might have been bit part players with the full squad available, and they're taking their opportunity to step up. And you need to be able to play many styles of football, and you've got to have a physical edge to you.
Eliopoulos forced the track back under the pressure of Hassaniala. And you can just see Campbell Doverson trying to get that battle against Tabina Abani in front of the grandstand. It's going to be a healthy battle, that one, because they're two players that are very similar in stature, very similar in speed, and keeping the techniques almost like a mirror.
There's some really interesting matchups all over the ground at the moment. I've been impressed with Scalopoulos, who's done really well down the left hand side.
He's got a lot of ball too.
Yeah, he has, and that's where the outlet has been for South Melbourne. But you talk about experience. You look at Jankovic, booked quite a flashpoint. Last 15 minutes, done the simple things, kept out the way, not really put himself in a difficult situation. That's just smart.
He's a mature player.
Yeah, just smart.
So Lopez is forced to go long. Lametti does well. And it is called back again. And
yeah.
Just seeing the setup, and it's an interesting point. Adam Pittick has just called out to Hassaniala, just saying that you're starting in offside position and you're not tracking back, and you don't want to give away a good opportunity on the edge of the yard box from a basic bit of striking.
You know what? You've got to be smart in that final third. Thunder are looking for opportunities to get the ball in behind South Melbourne, and he's got to be smart enough not to concede cheap possession when you're trying to move the ball in there. I heard earlier, probably about 2 or 3 minutes ago, I think it was Adam Pittick that said, you've got to move something. You can't just stand in one. You can't just stand in one place. You've either got to go long and drop in, or you've got to drop in and spin out.
Great touch inside of the body from Max Mikula. Finds the man Skapoulos that's had a lot of ball. Good ball across from that man again. It's on the edge. Bernarda. Ball comes out again to Bernarda. Whips it inside. Mikula can't quite get the leap. Striked away from Doverson. Still not over yet, and the shot coming from Papadimitriou. But it's as if Dandenong Thunder had a great start for 5-10 minutes, but have kind of just gone down a gear.
Yeah, the one thing that Thunder can't afford, they can't afford to invite South onto them. They can't afford to try and defend inside that box with numbers, because it only takes one little ricochet to fall to the wrong place and you're under pressure.
Turned over cheaply by Eliopoulos. Maniac goes to ground, and it's in a very dangerous position here for South Melbourne.
I think that was Eliopoulos that conceded the foul. It was cheap. Just watching it here, Lopez.
Yeah, Eliopoulos
tried to drop it into midfield. It's a. If you're going to drop a ball into the central corridor, make sure that your 6 is free and got a bit of space. Don't drop it without him being in the right position. And what happens here? It's dropped into the sort of, as we say, that central corridor, which is dangerous. It's picked up by I think it was picked up by Maniac, and he's driving into the centre. feels the touch. Let's be fair, he was 2v1, he didn't really have much place to go. Sensible, just felt the touch, takes the free kick. And is this the Mehmeti? Is it going to be
George Mells potentially?
It's one or two, you know.
Both men on the ball. Will it come from the right or the left side?
This is it. I'm telling you, this is the opportunity.
It's a very close wall. It'll be Mehmeti to strike. It's a good hit off the crossbar. Not sure what to do with his second attempt, and he's forced to go back. And that was a great strike from Mercer Mehmeti.
Wow, when we see it here on the replay, we were looking at it, it was either going to be Mells or Mehmeti. Great technique, just 6-8 inches. You know, I don't think Lopez was getting there. If it was just under the bar, it was well placed. And again, they're the little things that Aaron Pinnecke's looking for something. It just, you know, they've got themselves up the pitch. They've hit the bar with the free kick that comes from a bit of sloppy play from South Melbourne. They're the little ones that you're looking for it to go in.
Well, the opportunity is going to be gold tonight for Thunder, given that the chance of getting from open play, they have had them, but they're certainly starting to dry up. And few and far between as we see Lopez spray beneath it to our commentary position here at JVS Stadium. As the sun has finally gone down here in the southeast of Melbourne. You can already feel about a 5-degree drop in temperature, as well as we see Bernardo does want to keep possession. He stays on his feet, gets inside the box, finds a chip, and he's put way too much on that, and there is a lot of questions being asked from the Dandenong Thunder players.
Bernardo, listen, that's power and pace. You know, there can be little bits of complaints about the pulling of the jersey, but he's just brushed two people off, goes past the third man, know what he's trying to do, trying to dink it over Martins as he comes out. Thought he might have tried to move it to his left or shoot early, but it's great play, it's physical, it's big. You know, Thunder can complain all they like, but it was just sheer pace and power that was too good.
Yeah, the South Melbourne coaching staff know what Bernardo is capable of doing in terms of finding a net, but I just get a sense that watching their reaction, they would have preferred just being placed in the corner.
Yeah, I think so. You know, listen, if he scores, everybody's celebrating, saying what
it's a highlight
cool
reel
finish.
for a week.
Yeah, it is, yeah. You know, he's fashioned that out of nothing. And that must be a little bit of concern to Thunder, because that's come from virtually no football. It's a simple ball.
Soleimani gets the ball across. Maniac following his initial setup, and the Thunder starting to get a bit more momentum back in this game as we hit the 26th minute.
Yeah, Suleiman and Maniac, I've been impressed with him so far tonight. As we've said already, willing runner, and where you want your 9 to be in between the sticks when you're down the right-hand side. Suleimani tries to pick him out. It's a good near-post run, just doesn't get past the first man, which can be frustrating. But, again, an attacking situation. I think that's polite for, could you cover the front post?
Probably the most polite way of saying. But it's just like Kahadzic said, as we've seen Max Mikula, with the assistance of his coach and the positional change, who's at least cleared the ball out of the danger zone. Morton been rather quiet in the opening stages. There's Jack Morton playing in the centre of the park for the Dandenong Thunder.
Yeah, surprised he didn't throw it in there. You know, he tried to sort of manufacture it down the line to Soleimani, but, you know, I felt, get the ball in the box, turn south round.
As the ball is sprayed out wide and cleared by Lampard. It's just interesting then, just having that passage of play right beneath us as Lopez goes high and long. Lampard again, nice and simple. The pitch, and even then you could see it, the pitch seems to be quite wet, particularly
just down
this sideline here near us, yeah. Maniac, that has got to be a free kick, and it is going to be against Thierry Papadimitriou.
Papadimitriou was hands and body all over, you know, but that's South, they're prepared to mix it up. They're prepared to get body on body. We're expecting to see a bit more football from them, but they can do the ugly side of the game as well.
Let's just see Lopez.
They can't waste opportunities like that. It's a straight line ball into the channel that's just running through to the goalkeeper, and that's either there's not enough options available to the man ahead, and if there isn't, just drive into space.
Yeah.
Try and make something. Pull a defender onto you.
Skopoulos gets the ball in across again. Cleared out by Mehmeti. And as far as Jankovic, he's happy to keep it short with Lampard. Skopoulos again. Mikola gets the ball inside, but can only find Mehmeti. And another chance here for Yallop to get involved as the target man tonight. And Salmani just turns the ball over in the centre of the park for the Thunder. Bernarda.
South have got 5 forward.
Well, the transition breakdown really
there
affected.
was, But I tell you,
set up.
Thunder were very compact in the centre of the field, so...
George Mells puts the ball across into the open space. He asks his striker and Yalla to chase, and he's in offside position.
Again, trying to play into the spaces in behind the fullbacks of South Melbourne to try and play field position, try and keep the ball as far away from the Thunder box as they can.
Just another sign of Marko Jankovic getting in a tame tangle, but he's still going to start testing the patience of the referee. So you want a yellow card after a 4th minute obvious yellow card.
I think it was. I think it's probably the most obvious yellow of the season.
That's an understatement, Gary.
He's lying on the grass, hanging on to the jersey
like a trailer on the back of a Ford Ranger.
At least 10 seconds.
Yeah.
One of those comedies when the legs are running but you're not going anywhere.
You might make one of those meme pages you see on the NPL Victoria throughout the week.
Again, here we go. South loading the box.
It will be Max Mikola with the very well-known long throw-in for South Melbourne, and it comes in to the front post. They do find a head, and looks like Bernarda again just sails that one over the crossbar.
It's just a simple long throw. I'll tell you what's really interesting. I watched Martin there, stuck on his line, bit of traffic in front of him, really couldn't get the flight of the ball.
Yeah, he didn't try and get out of that pack.
No, he was there, you just watch him, he felt a little bump, then he retreats to his all arms and legs.
Caught in his front post, looking at the replay. So that's one thing he'll have to keep an eye on as he goes long, does Dennis Martins. Ingolotis in the middle, and just South Melbourne just at times getting caught and just forcing the ball forward when they could probably retain a bit more possession, but that could come with the amount of changes they have had this evening as the ball does come down the line again. It will result in a corner.
Yeah, it's again, some of the chances, Bryce, have just come from just straightforward, one-dimensional, hard running down the channels, 1v1, and really asking questions, and it was, as you say, Thunder give cheap possession in the middle of the field. It's just a simple 1v1, and he just says, I'm going, and he's trying to get to the byline, but when he gets back to make the challenge, but again, it's another set piece. You feel this is where South probably are looking at their best opportunity.
And South only do have one experienced player in Ashveer Singh Dillon, but to the best of my knowledge, coming back from injury. And the rest of the bench is contained of youth as we see the ball come in from Mikola to the back post. Not a proper punch by Martins, but he does enough. It's Hassan Yalla. Is taken down by Eliopoulos. The Thunder bench are not pleased at all with that, and I tend to agree with Adam Pinnock and his bench, because the challenge was fair from one of the boys, but the other one It come in from the side on the deck.
It just, you'll see it here, it just looks a bit reckless from, I think it's
Elapoulos looked like it was.
Elapoulos, yeah, it was. But just, again, determination to stop the transition.
And Bernardo, I think it's a bit of a decoy for Skopoulos to put the ball in, and Martins goes quick out to Courtney Perkins. They do well to find George Mells in the centre of the park, and if they can get it out to Silmani, he's got some space to work with. They use the far channel, and Silmani is still free, and a blocked pass. But that's again probably something out of nothing for Dandenong Thunder, but just not having that awareness to get that early switch in to Silmani.
Yeah, but I tell you, Obani does well to drop it. He drops it inside to Mells, and just watch Maniac, great little turn here. Watch him, he just turns inside, plays an early pass down the line. Yes, Suleimani's across free on the other side, but Maniac's, he's got something about him tonight, playing well in that little hole, and, you know, South can't send someone in to pick him up because he's got that ability to turn.
Ball comes in to the edge of the 6 yard, not dealt with fully just yet. Silmani gets a strike, Lopez clears it away, and it's going to be given an offside position. I'm not sure which Thunder player it was. It was a handful, but again, Thunder, getting opportunities.
I'm not sure whether it was Yell that didn't move out quickly. I'm watching it in. He's trying to stay in the goalkeeper. Still in the goalkeeper. Well, I don't know who's offside there.
Yeah, I haven't seen a replay myself. I think there's a handful of boys.
He's going to say he's probably pinged Yeller for it, but he looks as though he's still in a decent onside position, because it looked as though, you know, Elapoulos was actually beside him, and
it looks like they might have even a goal kick, which even surprising again. And Yala, my apologies, Maniac. Wow, he read that well, and Lopez would have had his heart in his mouth for a second there.
I think he's going to go long.
Oh, you have to.
I think he's going long now.
Just to relieve that pressure valve, and even the goal kick probably wasn't what he intended. Max Mikla getting in behind. The Thunder looking to use the wing, and Jankovic can't deal with that. Maniac does, though. And they get possession just in front of their coaching bench.
Maniac's operated right across the front third.
He has,
from one side to the other, and he's put a huge shift in. He's been someone that's been the outlet. You know, Suleimani's making the wide runs. Yellow's trying to drag people through the middle, and he's played very, very smartly tonight. Maniac. He's dropped into little holes. You see him do the second run in behind now. You know, he was on if it had been laid through there. Very, very intelligent running at the moment.
Yeah, and Morton just caught with the ball there. I think he was looking for Courtney Perkins, who made the inside run and was expecting his left winger to be on that left wing. As we see Abani just forcing the ball back towards the halfway line. An off the ball incident, rather tame in front of the grandstand. As again, Bernarda strong with the body work, trying to force the ball across to Skopoulos, but they turn it over. Yalla finds Silmani. He's got some space to work with in front of our commentary position. And some good defending there from Jordan Lampard.
Yeah, it's good defending, but you look at the Thunder bench, the space was behind. That's a slack ball by Islami into the central challenge corridor again.
Maniac comes in central to Courtney Perkins, who's come inside again. He finds Morton this time in a left wing position.
I'm watching Maniac's run. He's dropped it off and he's spun into the channel, and Perkins just needs to get his head up and play it up the line, because he has run some fantastic angles.
Yalla goes to ground, waved away by a referee. Thunder maintain possession. Courtney Perkins gets inside the box, sends it wide, does come in, it's not a bad ball. Lopez deals with it. Perkins on the follow-up, and he is given offside again.
I thought it was handball. I thought the ball had bubbled up there for a second, but he was offside.
Well, Courtney Perkins did continue his run that he laid off to the left, so you could see how that would have happened.
Yeah, drifts in, gets a little bubble. O'Barney whips it in. But again, just nice and calm. I think it was Jankovic again in the middle of the defence. He's the rock, he's the pin for them. Him and Elipoulos, they're the ones that are responsible for anchoring that central defensive area for South Melbourne. Do you think, right, it looks as though Thunder just need a bit more composure? They're tending to try and rush that ball.
Yeah, it's a rush of blood mentality at the moment. Maybe being surprised they're being given so much space through the middle of the park. But just when they're getting into that front third, it's a bit of panic and just... Not as if they're unsure of what they're doing, because they clearly do, but it's just something not quite clicking in that front third at the moment for the Thunder. As we see George Mells and Morton trying to regain composure in the middle for the men in black and red.
Because Thunder, you know, Suleimani, Maniek and Yella, they've made some good runs. They've found some space in those little pockets in what you class as the half space. So coaches will talk about the thirds across the pitch, but then there's the half spaces where in between 5 metres either side of the penalty box, 18-yard box, those little areas to try and drop into, which is tough to mark. And Maniek's dropped in well there. Suleimani's found himself in positions there as well. And there's a prime example. Could have got up and just made the simple pass into Maniek, and now there's a possibility for South to transition.
They do so through Skopoulos, who takes on Romadovsky, and he'll do well to keep it in, and he can't. The best opportunities for Thunder are coming through the transitional work from Maniek and Sulmani, taking on Jordan Lampard, which is funny because you've got Ethan O'Sullivan in right back, who is rather inexperienced at this level. Jordan Lampard, very good left back in the Senol NPLM Victoria, but they're getting more joy on this right wing, but they haven't really tested out O'Sullivan quite yet.
Now, but because I think what you've also got is I'm not sure, so they've brought O'Barney in. He's probably feeling his way into this side at the moment. I don't think he's been, if I have a look over the last sort of 4 games for Thunder, he's not been, I don't know if he's been involved in many games for Thunder. He's played a couple of games against Bentley Greens and Heidelberg, so maybe he's just in after 3 games trying to feel his way in there as well.
And it is that man that does put the ball out and allows a throw in, but he does well to regather and defend the throw. So we approach just over 40 minutes here at JVS Stadium. Both sides getting plenty of chance if you have just joined us recently. There's Maniek pulled up, and the advantage probably could have been given.
You know what, it's one of those where if it's not given and they lose possession, they're complaining. The ball breaks and there's transition and it's given and they're complaining.
Referee can't win that role, can he?
He's done. He's you know what, there's a no-win.
Maniek doing well, and as I say that, he turns it over to Mikola. Sends the ball wide. He also turns it over, and I think out of the two sides, as we see Dennis Martins playing short ball at the back. I'm sure Adam Petty wasn't all that pleased, as we see. Whoa, and again. And it was an offside. Okay, so the referee called the offside. The assistant didn't.
And players stopped. And that's a dangerous thing at this level, because all you need is for the linesman or the ref not to give that, and that mistake hurts you.
So Jankovic just happy to clear it to Mikola. Sends the ball again to Skopoulos. Romanovsky showing a bit of pace to shut down the cross, and does well to drive forward. Hasn't really got an option in front of him, so he's forced to keep it and trying to track the foul, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Only had Hassan Yella in front, who's putting his hands in the air, but to be fair, he was taking on 3 players through the centre of the park, as we see a rather rash challenge on Bernarda, courtesy of Jay Romanovsky.
Yeah, it's a yellow, it's a swipe. You'll see it. He's frustrated. He's had a big run. He's won a challenge on the edge of his box, which has been really important. He's made 20-30 metres. He's passed the ball into the touch, and he's just run past another. In Scotland, that might have just been play on.
Well, out of the two sides going in at 0-0 to half-time, you'd imagine that Thunder would be quite pleased with it, given their run of form of late, but they've also had opportunities as well.
They've had opportunities. You've had the free kick from Mameti that hit the bar after 25 minutes. But, you're talking about going in at half-time. Commentators curse. 3 minutes to half-time, free kick in a difficult area.
A bad one. Jankovic flagged for an offside position. Didn't direct the header as intended, no doubt, Marko Jankovic, but...
Set pieces where it's come from South Melbourne. I was trying to think of the flow of the game, and I think both coaches will be disappointed, certainly in the middle of the park, where that clinicalness of accuracy and hitting the right pass and hitting feet of the front runners. Yes, the passes have been good into the channels for people to run onto, but there's not been a lot of combination play to try and play through the middle central, the middle third of the pitch. But down the flanks, both sides have had success.
Skopoulos again coming down this left side. Good ball across, dealt with, and George Mells will have time to drive forward into some space. It goes long looking for Jackson. Courtney Perkins, urged on by his teammates to make the run. Eliopoulos, I think that was a handball there. And I think that's an unfortunate call for the Thunder, and George Mells just brings down the foul to limit any further danger.
Yeah, it was, I think the referees called it ball to hand rather than hand to ball, but Mells again sensible. We're in the 44th minute, doesn't want to get caught in transition, and professionally sets that foul up.
And Skopoulos has definitely been the danger man for South Melbourne in this first 45 minutes. He's had the most opportunities of anyone on the park.
Yeah, he has.
That's something that maybe Adam Pittick might have to just look at, I guess, trying to nullify in the second half.
You can't keep giving him opportunities to drive 1v1. I think Lampard and Stopoulos have done really, really well down this left-hand side, and it's again set up a long throw situation. You can if you're not getting beat, but you can't continue to give that up.
Ball comes in from Mikola. Takes on Courtney Perkins. Lampard just settling it down to Angelotis. Mikola, as we see, 1 minute of time added on to this first 45. Maniac forced to go all the way back. And they go long again to the Thunder.
Sincer's not happy because he'd recognised Thunder dropped the ball back and he wanted a press in that situation on the edge of the box. A minute from half time, chance to go and maybe try and force an error, and he was quick off his seat when they dropped to allow Thunder to get the ball out.
And just not the same page, Skopoulos and Mikola, by saying the opposite ball should have been played. So it's just signs like that when you make a raft of changes to your starting 11 that can creep in at certain times, as Eliopoulos forced to deal with that ball from the night sky, and a chance for South to drive forward, probably the last of the first half. Bernarda plays a good ball in, ball comes across, not properly dealt with, and Dennis Martin in the corner. Might be the last action for the first half.
Yeah, Sullivan, I think it was down that side. It's good play. Again, it's just a simple drop inside and a willing runner to keep playing a little 1-2 inside Obani, who doesn't track his runner. And they'll be desperate to get to half-time. This is a really, really critical set piece for Thunder to defend.
Mikola goes to the back post. Martin's not fully dealt with, and that will be the final action of the first half here at JBS Stadium. South Melbourne 0, Dandenong Thunder, our home side, also sitting on no goals. And Gary Parker, your thoughts on the first half?
I think it's been an entertaining game because it's been played in a transition. I think when you look at it from a South Melbourne point of view, I think we've spoken about it. Lampard and Scapolas down this left-hand side have really given South a lot of opportunities, but the final ball's been poor. I think the best play was Bonada, who just bulldozed his way through 3 challenges and went for a miraculous finish where they tried to lift it over the goalkeeper. Yeah. Martin closed him down really, really quickly. I thought maybe he might have tried to either go round him or hit the shot early as he was coming out, but that's the only clear-cut chance that South have fashioned. Thunder, listen, Adam Pick will be really happy the way Thunder have played. They've caused South problems down the channels. Suleimani's done really well. Maniac's been probably for me the player of the game so far. He's linked play, he's run into channels, he's kept the centre backs really, really busy. And Mehmeti, well, he's probably about 8 inches away from giving them the lead. After 25 minutes, it was slack play by Lopez, who dropped the ball into the central corridor. Thunder were quickly onto it. They won a free kick on the edge of the box. Mehmeti couldn't have hit the ball any better, and it crashes off the crossbar. But you look at it, 12 shots in the game so far, only 4 on target. But when you think about it, it's 0-0. Somebody needs to find a piece of magic. I think Thunder, they're going to try and keep turning South around. South, off their long throws and their set pieces, could be the undoing of Thunder if they continue to allow them to do that.
And we'll find out what is going to happen in the second half. We're about 15 minutes away, so join us here on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. It's Bryce Ruthven and Gary Parker taking you through round 6 of Senol NPL Victoria from JVS Stadium. Welcome back to second half action of the Senol NPL Victoria. It is round 6, live from JVS Stadium in Dandenong, the home of Dandenong Thunder Soccer Club, who are taking on South Melbourne. And if you have just joined us over the halftime break, first off, welcome to the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. My name is Bryce Ruthven, joined by Gary Parker, and as I cross over to you, Gary, we're locked at 0-0 after the first 45.
Yeah, we are. We, as I say, if you're just joining us, Mameti hit the bar for Thunder just midway through the first half, which was probably one of the best chances. Bonada bulldozed his way through 3 challenges and a one-on-one, and Martin closed the space quickly and stopped that. But, if you look at the way the game's gone in the first half, it's a bit, you would say in Scotland, nip and tuck. Both sides are trying to sort of play each other out. I just feel if Thunder just need to back themselves a wee bit more composure in that final pass, in that final option. They've certainly not been. They're certainly in this game, and I think one goal may decide it tonight again. And you look at it from a South Melbourne point of view: 1-0 against Gully, 1-0 against Bentley, 1-0 against Altona. They're turning into the Arsenal of the NPL at the moment.
And no changes to either side over the half-time break, and we get underway as the lights take full effect at JVS Stadium, as the ball sails onto the head of Jay Romanovsky. It's been a solid battle in the first 45 between Romanovsky and Andre Skopoulos on the left wing, which is now the grandstand side on your vision as you watch on the YouTube channel.
Started off the same way. Long throw, long throw, long throw.
Yep, it is the South Melbourne way from Mikola, and it comes in. As we see Courtney Perkins just relieve some defensive pressure. And the ball, not a bad option there, and Mikola just sprays it over. And if you have joined us over the halftime break, South Melbourne with a bit of a depleted squad due to OFC Pro League commitments in Honiara. The side on their way back from the Solomon Islands after having 2 games in the past week. So the likes of Max Mikola, Marko Jankovic, Jordan Lampard, Noel Bernarda didn't travel to the Solomon Islands for that circuit. As we see their captain in Jankovic just forcing the Thunder back all the way to Dennis Martin, who sprays the pass with his first start of the 2026 campaign.
Yeah, it's cheap possession. The one thing you don't want to. So when you're coaching and you're looking at a side and you're saying South Melbourne, any time they get throw-ins inside or near our 18-yard line, they're going to launch it in. Martins would be as well shelling the ball the other end of the field than actually trying to give South Melbourne field position to get the ball into the box.
Mikola with the ball in. Eliopoulos being held. And South Melbourne trying to maintain possession, but a foul caught against Campbell Davison, much to his unrest.
Yeah, again, I think, Obani did well there, closed him down, made it body on body. Davison just a wee bit too eager, just throws his arms in and, again, relieves the pressure. There's been some cheap fouls given away in really key areas of the field that you'd want players to be a bit more patient and understand where the opposition are finding themselves instead of letting them out with cheap free kicks.
Morton sends the ball long, looking for Courtney Perkins. Can't find him. The ball does go long, looking for Bernarda for South Melbourne. Going back to his former home. He's the Argentinian as Max Mikola looks to drive forward into the space. Decides to go himself and probably should have used an option, but the end result is still attacking possession for South Melbourne.
Yeah, it was, Morton's done well. He's taken the safe option and played it out. You just wonder if it had been Withers if he'd have played that back, Martin, after pushing a ball out under no pressure. I just felt he took the option to clear rather than bring his goalkeeper in to clear it for
definitely
him.
Stays in the mind of the back line as we see Mikola looking to get a bit crafty with the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box. Couldn't do so, and Jankovic sitting on a yellow card courtesy of 4th minute yellow ticket. You'll see, no doubt, a highlight of that during the week. Maybe on a memes page for the most obvious yellow card of the Senol NPL Victoria season.
Yeah, I've heard the swapping jerseys at the end of the game. But
Yeah,
never
not
after
on the
5
4th
minutes.
minute, yeah. As we see Romanovsky in front of the Camille Rosapi grandstand. Bernarda sends the ball back and regains possession again. Goes to the crossfield switch and just doesn't have enough on it. Dealt with by Abani. The referee, he's got a lot go this evening. That is another one to put on the notepad. And it's a good ball down the sideline for Maniac. But Yella on the inside. Maniac decides to go himself. Ball to the back post. It's free. Courtney Perkins. It's offside anyway. It wouldn't have counted, but that was another good showing from the Thunder about what they're capable of in the attacking third.
Yeah, they've moved the ball really, really quickly, and again, it's that man Maniac. He's the outlet. He's the player that could cause the problems. He's in, gets himself into the box, which makes it tough to make challenges on him. Stands it back up at the far post, and yeah, it was Perkins. He just skied it, leaning back. But he'll be one of the few times we're glad the offside flag's up.
Yeah, he was on the stretch. It was Courtney Perkins, as we see. The opportunity for Skopoulos to drive down that left-hand channel. Gets inside the box with a lot of pace. Mikola caught wrong-footed. Sends over for a goal kick, and he'll be disappointed with that one. And Mikola.
Yeah, that's where all the chances have come. They've come down the flanks of each side. You know, it's just a simple ball in. And Lampard decides he's just going to go, and he goes, and he drives, which is really, it's positive play. And it's just, again, it's been the final delivery all night from both sides that's really lost opportunities.
And the whole Thunder bench erupts as we see Maniac doing well. He's being very much held from South Melbourne. It's going to be a corner, but there was definitely a lot of hands from a South Melbourne player.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands. There's that's what you'd expect. You know, you're expecting your defender to be tight, but again, Maniac, he's given as good as he's getting. He's getting his arm across. He's driving into the box, and his reward is a corner.
That's the thing. If Papadimitriou can get away with it, he's going to keep pushing the boundary with their referee, and it's going to make.
Referees let a lot go tonight.
Yeah, he has actually. Yeah,
which means. Let's hope it's not going to be one of these controversial decisions which he's let so many go for all night, and then he calls the big one, you know, which would, you know, that's what frustrates coaches. You want consistency. He's been consistent all night. Don't make a big call when if it's the same as what's happened for 70 or 80 minutes.
And when you're in the shoes of Adam Pittick and your form of late hasn't been great, everything just sort of seems to sting that little bit extra, doesn't it? So
I think Yella started better second half. We spoke about Soleimani and we've been speaking about Maniac. If Yella can give that front, add another dimension to the front three, then that's where something could come.
Mameti forced to clear it at quick notice as the ball goes back in his direction. Abani. Mikola trying to be crafty again. Mells finds Maniac in some good space, who turns and just can't get enough on that final ball through for Hassan Yella.
The collective groan when he went for the early ball, and you know what he's got on the half turn. You would have really wanted him to keep driving into that area, because he would have probably drawn a foul or he'd been let through the hole. Just probably the first wrong decision he's made tonight.
Morton regathers his own possession, gets inside the box. Ball comes in from Sulmani. It's rather tame though. Morton sends it wide to Sulmani. Goes in Abani. Finds Sulmani again, can get the ball into some good space.
Final ball again, Price. You know,
it is.
Talk about they're getting themselves into good areas. It's a good touch, but then all of a sudden, you know, the last ball in doesn't get past the first man.
Sulmani, no doubt, keen to impress his former suitors in South Melbourne. Mills came from Dandenong Thunder to South Melbourne and returned after a season at Lakeside. Ball comes in. Just to maintain possession.
What can't Maniac do? He's doing the long throws now.
Good chance to get forward down here from Angus Angalotis. Cleared out by Mameti.
One ball, one simple ball, long throw. South get it out. Ball goes over. I think it's a sloppy ball inside. It's picked up and driven on. Angalatos, he'll be disappointed. You could see what he's trying to do. Just felt maybe he could have taken his time and tried to drive inside a little bit. But that one transition.
Ball comes in to the edge of the 8-yard box. By Ismaili. Sormani again. And it's going to be to the safety of the goal line. And South Melbourne not happy at all, especially Marko Jankovic with the option to throw. To be fair, I don't think there was really much more options than to throw it into the pack of where it was.
I tell you, the opening 10 minutes of the second half, it looks like two sides that have got a lot of changes. He's probably caught up with them at the moment. There's not the flow, there's not the continuity, there's not the intricacy and the bounce passes and ball moving through the line. It just seems to be two sides that have got a set defence in set areas and are playing a bit one-dimensional football.
Well, when you've got a raft of changes like both sides do, fatigue will come in quicker. So who's going to pull the pin on using that substitute first? There's an obvious free kick as well against Max Mikula.
Yeah, just went in there, and then again we've spoken about it most of the night. Cheap foul in an area where Thunder were, there's not much options for them, and South let them out again.
I think it's going to be a case, Gary, of which side maintains their discipline throughout this second half, which will lead to a 3-point victory as we see Courtney Perkins just transitioning onto the opposite wing, and again just not on the same page since converting over to the right wing from the left. Iliopoulos comes out to this right back position in O'Sullivan. A strong challenge in front of the South Melbourne bench. Angalotis does well. Mameti does even better to find George Mills. Morton finding Maniac, who does well to get away from the options. So Barney, George Mills, and finally they decide to go forward the Thunder. Barney. Again, they get into that front third, Garen, and they're forced to come back from that discipline structure from South Melbourne defensively.
Yeah, they are, and all of a sudden you've got Obani who's in the front third and he's bearing down, he checks back, and 3 passes later it's up Martin's feet at the other end of the field.
And Yella, just prime example there of just lack of communication going to that front third. He actually had room to lock it in, didn't he?
Yeah, he could have been strong, he could have invited the challenge, he could have tried to pull the ball in on his chest, just keep field position. Oh.
Morton plays the ball through for Yella. It's a chance. And it's the first goal of the evening for the Dandenong Thunder. 58 minutes played. We finally have a leader, and it is the men in red and black.
Yeah, it's a great finish. It really is. Yella, we spoke about him earlier at the start of the second half. Could he do? Angelatos gets pickpocketed in the central corridor. Again, something that we spoke about early. Don't play into that area if you've not got yourself in the right position. This calm finish, huge finish, and the Thunder bench below us just erupts into the field. It's going to be really interesting now for South Melbourne, because when you look at their games, they've not been behind in the last sort of couple of weeks. What have they got in them? And we said a mistake, and Angelatos in the middle of the field coughs up cheap possession, one pass in, boom, 1-0 Thunder.
You touched on it. I don't think I've seen a team bench erupt this season like I just saw the Dandenong Thunder bench erupt. Adam Pittick, I thought he was running to the corner flag to celebrate.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's a reward, though. It's a reward.
We spoke about it. It's, you know, there's a bit of unity there. They're still in the same. They've only lost games by the odd goal. It's not as if they've been, you know, losing big games and big goal margins, and they've picked it up. We said, is it going to be a piece of magic or a bit of mistake? But I think it was Morton that picked, you know, Angelatos in the middle of the park. Really quick ball. To yell it. Really, you know, it was a decisive, crisp pass, and his first touch was excellent.
Well, no doubt this situation is going to be very intriguing for Thunder fans to see how they handle it, and they could be handling it quite well as they've turned the ball over through Miklar. The shot from Courtney Perkins blocked. George Mells finds a space in the right wing to Romanovsky. He gets inside the box, forces the ball in, it's a cross, and it's a goal to Courtney Perkins off the back of the first in the evening. 2 minutes later, we are 2-0 to Dandenong Thunder at JBS Stadium.
Patience. You know, the ball comes out, they just hold on to it. Mells, look, good switch. Out it goes. Romanovsky, he's big, he's strong, drills it in the middle. Perkins comes near post, knocks it in. And there you have it. Unbelievable. It's 2 goals in a minute. And it's, you know, Thunder have got themselves in a winning position. And we asked how South Melbourne might react. Going to find out now. This is the goals change games.
Well, the question was how are Thunder going to hold off a 1-0 lead in this situation, but that's a pretty good way of answering my question. Just putting another one in the back of the net, and it is 2-0. The 60 minutes played. The last 3 minutes have been the most intriguing of the match so far, and there is definitely a bit of buzz about Dandenong Thunder now. A bit of a pep in their step.
Yeah. We're genuinely about to find out what this South Melbourne side's made of now. You know, as we've said, there's been a lot of changes. They've come here on the back of 3 wins. They're top of the NPL. They're buoyant. They've never been asked these questions. They've never been 2 behind this year. They're going to be asked, how are you going to respond this next sort of 10, 15 minutes is going to be key. Do Thunder back themselves to go and get a third and kill the game? If that was Adam Pittick, I wouldn't be changing anything. I'd be playing the game in the right side of the pitch.
As you see, an off-the-ball incident involving Royal Bernardo. The Thunder bench have erupted. We can't see anything just here on our replay screen, but the Thunder bench are absolutely blowing up. It's
Ismaili that's there.
And look, corner of the screen kind of saw some arms going in all places. There's an off the ball incident again going with Bernardo now and the goalkeeper. And the former Dandenong Thunder man has been involved, probably not the way that he would like to tonight. Mind you, he's not one to shy away from a battle.
Yeah, it's tough to see. We didn't get a right good look at it, but Ismaili was certainly laid out for. The game went on for at least a good minute and a bit, you know, and in some respects, you know, South will be disappointed that they didn't take advantage because it was a great cross in, but, you know, not what you really want to see, but tough to, we've not really had a good angle to be able to have a look at it.
So all certainly the Thunder boys have come to the bench and saying to the fourth official he's elbowed him in the head. We can't comment because we didn't see it, but it is a hard one if none of the officials have called it, even if something has or hasn't happened. You can't just go off what the players are saying. You've got to have a clear decision of what you've seen and a clear sight. And it looks as though none of the officials have seen anything that has happened. So
although the near side linesman's calling the referee over, don't know what's happening.
Well, it's because the substitutes have said something on the side, warming up behind him, or what the go is. But there's definitely some unfinished business between the officials.
And actually what's really surprising is all the substitutes are warming up in the same area.
Yeah, it's a tight fit for JBS.
Now, this is really important. Now, when you look at it, when you do look at it from this situation, Thunder don't need this. They need to have a bit of calmness. They need to just pull the players away. They're 2-0 up. There's 25 minutes to go. You're in the box seat at the moment. Just try and calm everybody down and focus on the job.
So we have seen Bernardo called over to our referee, and something else is still being communicated to the officials through their headsets. Obviously, we haven't got access to their headsets on the NPL Victoria commentary, but it's still being handled with. And they're still all asking questions of the fourth official. To be fair, he probably had the best line of sight out of everyone of the four officials, but he doesn't look too confident he's seen anything.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here.
I think it's going to be a drop ball to South Melbourne.
I think that's what they're arguing at, and that's exactly what's happened. Bryce, you did say at the start you've never been here without an incident.
I tell you.
And at the moment, Thunder find themselves 2-0 in front. They just need a bit calm head at the moment.
You see South Melbourne trying to force it in, and George Mells taking a touch. I love watching a goalkeeper in suspense of what to do in that situation, Gary. It's like picking up. He got some friendly advice from his coach, Adam Pittig.
Yeah, there's many a time the coach has just rolled at the goalkeeper, just pick it up. But then the clock starts because you've got 5 or 6 seconds.
There's a good clearance there from Mehmeti, not fully dealt with just yet. There's a lot going on beneath us.
I think we need cameras on the bench and on the touchline. Everything's being contested. And it's understandable. Emotions are high. Thunder find themselves 2-0 up. They're looking for that win to kickstart their season. And everything at the moment in this second half has been probably Thunder have had the best of the opening quarter of this half. They've got their 2 goals. They just, they've got to ask South Melbourne, how are you going to get through us?
Well, the calmest person on the Dandenong Thunder bench is the assistant coach, Andrew Elderton. He's been very calm. The rest of them, you can't go in that category at the moment, Gary. As you see, South Melbourne just trying to retain some possession in the middle of the park. Maniac does well. We've got a 4-on-3, a 5-on-3 situation, as a matter of fact. Maniac with the strike, and you can see the arms from basically every other option in front. And that was definitely the wrong one that Maniac took there. He's had a great game, Gary.
He has.
That was probably the one thing that we can add to his note.
And Bryce, I'll say this to you, I understand why he's done it as a coach, because everything's been going well for him, but it's in that moment that you need a calm head. And Wells was quick. Mells was quick to come forward and tell him, I think you should have played with passing. But when you're playing well, your confidence is high. Nobody would have been complaining if it was in the top corner.
Skopoulos with the ball across. Cleared out by Courtney Perkins. Yella held. O'Sullivan gets the ball caught underneath his feet. And Eliopoulos settles.
They don't need to chase again. They really don't need to chase the game at the moment, Thunder. They just need to be smart, they need to be sensible. Bryce is getting carried away, throwing the mic on the pitch.
Just getting excited like the Dandenong Thunder bench at the moment. Dropping the microphone. As the ball goes wide.
We certainly don't want it down there.
I think the cameraman does anyway. It's a long walk down to get it. As we can see, is Marley. He sends the ball long with no option apart from Yellow.
Maniac.
George Mells found in the middle. Ball across for Silmani. Can't quite find the target. And it's frantic football really from both sides at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, well, because you've got Thunder who can sense this is a big moment for them. They know that they've got to try and either see this game out or at least make sure they can keep South Melbourne away from pulling anything back to give them some momentum. And I think South are going to go to the bench.
Yeah, and it will be the first substitutions for South Melbourne this evening. Going to be 3 changes, as a matter of fact. It's going to be Isvir Singh Dillon coming on. He's going to be joined by Thomas Killick and also George Stavros.
He scored the winner last week against Green Gully, I think.
And he's going to be replacing Will Bernardo. Probably not a bad shout from the South Melbourne coaching staff. And Max Mikola getting an early mark too. Starting to see the third. It's gone off the other side. Looks like it's Jordan Lampard. So the 3 experienced players for South Melbourne. Is that a sign of Snissa Gahadzic just maybe saying this one might be a lost cause and get the 3 experienced boys off?
You know what? They've brought on the youngster who plays up front through the middle. He got the winner last week. I'm just trying to Strafatos. I could get that long. Is Sarastravos, who scored the winner last week. So he's got goals in him. You know, there's no doubt about it. He's fresh off of last week's winner against Green Gully.
The ball probably into the back post. Looking for Thomas Killick. And there are 3 attacking changes as well. So you can see that Singh Dillon has gone into a number 9 role where Bernardo was playing. You'll see beneath us 3 unhappy faces from the substitutes of South Melbourne. A crucial 3-minute period has turned this game for Dandenong Thunder. Maniac. Sends the ball to Silmani. He just turns the ball over. I think any side for South Melbourne has got Marko Jankovic marshalling the squad ahead of him. He's in pretty safe hands. He's going to have an almighty task to get his troops up in the remaining 18 plus minutes here at JVS Stadium. So Silmani forcing some pressure back. Eliopoulos dealing with it. Mel's getting involved as well. Maniac goes to ground.
Just trying to draw fouls in certain areas of the field at the moment, Thunder.
And a bad ball in from Angolotis.
Dillon looks a willing runner as well. He looks as though he'll run the channels for South Melbourne.
Angolotis again. Strong challenge from Silmani. You just get this sense from the Thunder at the moment. They know that this 3 points is going to be vital going into the halfway point of the season.
It just gets them in touch with 3 or 4 sides above them.
Yella. Right in challenge to Eliopoulos. And it has to be called back, and that's going to have to be a yellow card.
Yeah. Eliopoulos, that's both centre-backs now yellowed.
Yeah.
You know, Eliopoulos and Jankovic are both yellowed, the experienced ones there. You know, so Suleimani, Yella and Maniac have certainly asked questions of the big centre-backs tonight. They've been physical, they've been prepared to go body on body. And, you know, Thunder understand the importance of this game. They've got big games coming up. Bentley next week. Then they've got Green Gully and Altona. You know, Green Gully, this will take them away from Green Gully if they can hang on to these 3 points. They'll get level with Altona, and it gives them a chance again to push on, Thunder. This is how big this game is. This is a slight gateway into the next 3 fixtures that gives them confidence to pick up more points.
And there's a big game tomorrow afternoon out at Casey Fields. Control Cyber Campus, Melbourne City taking on Altona Magic at 3 p.m. So that in itself is a big game for both sides for different reasons. Melbourne City competing with the finals positions at the moment, and Altona Magic looking to pick up points where they can. It's going to be a tough road trip to face a very strong Melbourne City youth side.
Yeah, they've done really well, Melbourne City. We were there at the Oakley game. They've certainly asked a few questions. They've bang 5 in. You know, they're starting to find their straps in this league.
This is a set play off the training ground. No doubt for Thunder. And all hands went up. The referee points to the goal kick.
I'm looking down at Adam Pert. He's got his head in his hands. That's a chance to throw the ball in the box, see what comes. You know, South are not asked to defend a dangerous situation there. You're 2-0 up. Get the ball in the box.
Chance here for Thomas Killick to drive forward. He takes on Romanovsky. The latter wins out. Does well defensively. You can just see the Thunder just wanting it a little bit more at the moment. Maniac happy to take on 3 plays again, and he does very well to get out of a situation. Goes to ground. Yella. He's already scored 1 tonight. Can he get a second? Perkins also scored himself. Comes central, and he's forced to run outside, and the experience of Courtney Perkins there, just maintain possession rather than just spraying a ball. Finds Yella. Again, Courtney Perkins, very busy. Strong challenge again. I think both plays feeling the effect of that one.
You know what? You wonder whether your side really want 3 points. Perkins has got the second, but there was absolutely no holding back. It was in, the little bounce of the ball. It breaks for him, and he is just, it's full-blooded.
Lace that into Springvale, that one.
Yeah. And Gelatos as well, no fair play. He was prepared to get in there as well.
You can just see a few of the young heads for South Melbourne just looking a little bit unsure of how to get themselves out of this situation. With about 14 minutes plus stoppage time remaining.
I think that was a prime example. Killick did really well, drove. He was trying to get 1v1, but you just looked at how strong, you know, Romanovsky was in, not just in the first challenge, but the experience to, while he was slightly on the ground, throw himself in, just throw a leg in to win the second ball as well. And that's what you're looking for. You know, Thunder have still not gone to the bench so far. Might have to now, because I think Courtney Perkins is
it's going to be stiff.
Yeah.
And just while we do have a break in play, touching on the results from last night's game in the Senol NPLM Victoria. Bentley Greens getting a 4-0 win at home against Green Gully. Dandenong City and Hume City playing a 1-1 draw. The Oakley Cannons getting a 2-1 win at home over George Cross. And the Preston Lions getting a 2-1 home win over Avondale. So some big results in terms of ladder positions for the Senol NPLM Victoria. No doubt this one too will have an effect at both ends of the table.
This result has an effect in the bottom half of the table. This gets Thunder within touching distance and pushes them away from the bottom 3.
South Melbourne, if they do stay as it is at the moment, they will lose their top spot, with Heidelberg jumping South Melbourne. So no doubt Heidelberg fans will want the result to stay the way it is. It will keep Hume City in touch. Nick Hegarty's men 1 point shy of second place. It's just funny to see the opening 6 rounds, Gary. Hume City, not too much spoken about. Nick Hegarty's side, and also Bentley Greens coming up from promotion, not given a realistic chance of competing for the top 4, but both sides are in there at the moment.
The same with Georges. You know, Georges have done really well since they've come up. They played well on Friday night. Oakley deserves to win the game in the end, but you know, Georges, they've picked up some good points and they've been competitive, and it's always important, Bentley and Georges, when you come up into the new league, to pick up early points and do what you need to do. And Hume have just quietly, yes, they scored late at Dandy, but looking at the highlights, there are a couple of half chances in injury time to try and win the game as well.
Yeah, Nick Hegarty, a great operator since coming back over from the UK. He's got his side doing good things out of Nassau Stadium up in Broadmeadows, as we see South Melbourne go long, finding Dylan. Eliopoulos just forced to put it into a wide area.
He's actually in play, eh?
Ball comes in from the wide area. Siskopoulos, and it goes over for a goal kick. You might be able to hear Snitzer Hadzic just not impressed with something that's happened in terms of a call.
Yeah, but, you know, you're heading into... He understands the importance that he needs South to try and find a goal in the next 3 or 4 minutes, because they know Thunder, who are desperate to try and hang on to this lead. If this gets to 2-1, could be a nervy final 10 minutes.
Seeing Dillon forced to come back to O'Sullivan. He rides a challenge, keeps inside the white paint, sends the ball to the back post. Looking for Sarah Stavros. Comes all the way back to Skopoulos. Been a bit quieter in the second half, Skopoulos, considering his first 45 minutes.
Yeah, he played really well in the first half. But I'll tell you what's got a little bit quieter. Just looking down at the Thunder bench, there's a little bit of, you know, they understand the importance of this next sort of 5-6 minutes. They're 2-0 up. I don't know if it's a calmness or whether there's a bit of anxiousness that's actually sitting in there at the moment, because they know this stage of the game is really important. They must manage this correctly. Don't chase the game, keep their shape, because it will be South Melbourne that will start throwing caution to the wind. And when they do that, I think there's a front. You know, I think Yella and Maniac have played really well all night, and there may be spaces.
Not a body language expert, Gary, but I reckon the ratio of anxiety to calmness for the Dandenong Thunder bench is probably about 99% anxiety, 1% calmness, if that. As we've got 9 minutes remaining. Another substitution coming for South Melbourne is Thierry Papadimitriou coming off, being replaced by number 39, Jerry Angelotis.
The clock ticks into the 80th minute.
His ball comes out to Marko Jankovic.
Thunder have got too many people. The midfield are working hard to get back and drop into that shape. They have to keep their discipline. They have to keep their shape. And you know, they need to get a hold of the ball, Thunder. They can't just keep allowing South to come on to them. And this is what they must do. They must get the game up the field and force South to try and make passes through lines.
Eliopoulos sends the ball wide. Yalla just content with swinging the centre backs at the moment. Jankovic looking for a forward option. He finds it in Angus Angelotis. Ball comes over the back and it just sails over. Too much on the ball.
Yeah.
The intent's right, Gary, but just the execution's just not there at the moment.
Yeah. Thunder are still sticking to their 4-3-3. You know, they're allowing South still to try and play through the lines. Some coaches might drop into a 4-4-2 block and just try and stifle that midfield and stop South trying to play through that central corridor. But Adam Pinnock's asking his front three to work hard and try and keep the game up the other end of the field.
And he's also asked Harry Phillips to come on and add a bit of energy, replacing Jack Morton for the Dandenong Thunder. So the first substitution for Adam Pinnock this evening, 83 minutes played as we creep into the 84th. Romanovsky promoting the ball forward. Maniac turns and hits it across and just couldn't quite find Joseph.
That's what Adam Pinnock's after. He saw Maniac turn and try and play that ball in the channel. and he was off the bench applauding him because that was what he was looking for, that type of ball in behind South.
George Mells sends the ball high and long. It's interesting, Gary. Great lights here at JBS Stadium now, but as soon as the ball goes above the grandstand height, you can't see it.
It is. You hear Adam, get up the pitch. So what he's really looking for is wanting to congest between the lines so that South can't play out.
Yeah, there's no real set bank of four, is there, through the midfield? Not. It's just it's a back four and then what's in front.
Yeah, and that's, you look at it from that point of view. I can understand that Adam's wanting, Piddock's trying to push everybody up the field. As I say, that little central corridor there for South Melbourne. You've still got the Davison that's in there that can do something. They just need to make sure they don't get caught in transition, Thunder, because South are just looking to try and get runners in. They've worked hard, Thunder, off the ball.
They haven't.
They've worked hard.
They're fatiguing, but they still have that drive to get the result in them, where South Melbourne just look a bit more content with the results going the way it's going to fall. As we see Mameti with a strike. Lopez deals with it. Another strike away. It's blocked. Mameti again. Not fully dealt with. A third opportunity. And now it's going to result in a corner. And Gary, I don't know how that ball did not end up in the white net.
Yeah, it was a bit of pinball in there. It was bouncing around. There was a couple of chances, but Mameti stepped forward. It's a great strike. Ball bounces just in front of Lopez. Steps inside, man, and good save again. Block. Manetti's again. Pushes it out. Gets a second chance at it.
Nia Whelan probably had the best chance out of all of them.
Yeah,
Mameti
he did.
Getting forward from centre back. 2 bites at the cherry.
5 minutes to go. Best part of the field for Thunder.
And the third would definitely kill this game off for South Melbourne. Ball gone into the back post. Oh, and it's not too far off being Olympico, I must say.
Yeah, I do look at the back four at South, and they look a bit leggy now. They've been asked a lot of questions by a front three of Thunder who've been willing runners all night.
One of the questions of the South Melbourne squad managing the Senol NPLM this year and also the OFC Pro League is how fatigue will be managed by the coaching staff, and you believe they've got a reported 30 plus contracted players this year across the 2 leagues, which is definitely going to be required at various points like tonight. But it's interesting to sort of see how the likes of Marko Jankovic, even Max McLeod now has had an early mark, but Marko didn't travel to Honiara with the OFC Pro League team.
There's one. Mania, player of the night, all night for Thunder.
Yeah.
Willing runner, been physical, he's come short, he's linked, he's played in behind, he's dropped into the half space, he's played as a false 9 sometimes, just in behind yellow, and you know what, he deserves to have cramp.
And Jerry Angelatis, the culprit there. And South Melbourne, you can see they're just looking flatter by the minute as we approach the 90. And just Angelatis. Barney. Strong defensively, and that will definitely end up in a advantage situation for Dandenong Thunder. Everything falling the way of the Stripes at the moment.
You know, this has been, you can't question Thunder's commitment to this game. They've given everything. Yes, there's been times where it's been a little bit lacked a bit of composure at times on the ball in the middle of the field, but they've played the game in the right parts of the pitch against South Melbourne. They've turned them round, and the front three have worked hard.
The line's not completely cleared. For South has given another chance. Sulmani gets the goal, and a decisive goal for Dandenong Thunder. The 3 points stay in Melbourne Southeast. And don't the home fans love what they're witnessing here at JBS Stadium?
Yeah, you know, it's again the ball's through the middle. Yellow's here, watch Maniac makes himself big, he's physical, and the ball falls. That's a brilliant finish. It's an absolute phenomenal finish. And he's, you know, he's going to be happy, isn't he? So he's going to be happy, isn't he? What a way to end the night. Brilliant finish.
And we see another substitution. Eliopoulos has come off for South Melbourne. Jake Brown going into the centre-back position.
Suleimani, it's a great finish. It really is.
Well, just pouncing on the error.
Yeah.
South Melbourne not clearing their lines properly. That forward pressure going to the front third has paid off again for Dandenong Thunder. And I can tell you now, the club rooms to our right will be open till about 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, I reckon, Gary.
Yeah, I think the extra food going on now, they've deserved it. You know what? It was...
well, they've earned it.
Yeah, they have.
It hasn't been gifted to them. They've had to earn these 3 points, and they have done so.
Yeah, it's been physical. They've never shied away from that. You know, they've scored 3 really, really good goals. When you look at it from that point of view, you know, it was Mel's pickpocketed little ball inside the inside channel, and Yellow took the touch, finished really crisply. Romanovsky went down the wing, crossed near post. Perkins was in at the front to score, and then again they hustled that opportunity to themselves. Hustled the opportunity, and Suleimani blasted it in for 3-0.
Maniac locks that ball into the corner as we see 5 minutes additional time added on. A smart foul attracted from Maniac, and he's just been in everything tonight. I'm happy to call him the man of the match for tonight before hitting the final whistle.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to sneak up in the last 4 minutes and take that off him. I think he's really stepped up tonight. He's been physical, as I've said. He's run channels, he's been available, he's been option. And we're in the 91st minute. He's getting stretched for cramp 3 minutes ago, yet he's still putting his body on the line and chasing causes. When you're 3-0 up, you can chase anything.
He can still get sent off, and I'd still give him 3 points for the team of the week. Respectfully, of course, hoping he doesn't get sent off. I'm sure Adam Piddick's in that camp with me as well. As you see South trying to get something out of the remaining 4 minutes, and that will be called back for a foul against George Stavros, the late substitute for South Melbourne.
Yeah, they've seen the game out now. Seen the game out smartly. You know, foul in the central third of the field where there's no, you know, just kill the game.
Barney intercepting the Jankovic long ball. Silmani is on a high from his goal moments ago. South still trying to weave their magic. Or what's left of it tonight. Maniac doing very well to hold up play for the Thunder. It happens in it long, and it's an interesting thing. You look at the result, you see 3-0 on the website and scoreboard, but you look at the performance, say, was it flawless? No, there was definitely parts where you need to work on if you're Adam Piddick going into next week, but they've taken the chances that have been presented to them, where in the first half they really weren't. That's been the half-time change for Adam Piddick's men.
Yeah, it has been, and 2 goals in 2 minutes. You know, the world game is quite simple. Team who scores the most goals wins, and goals change games. You can be dominant, you can have all the play, you can have everything going for you. Somebody goes up the other end and scores, changes the whole dynamics of the game. And 2 goals in 2 minutes, and the confidence and the energy levels, you can run a bit harder, you can close down a bit quicker, you can chase a bit more when you've just scored a couple of goals. And South, they've never really tested Martins in the second half. There's been nothing that's really caused any issues for Thunder in this second half, and it's looked a game too far for South tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely something you're going to have to get over pretty quickly. They've got some games coming up, and then they're off to Fiji for round 5 of the OT Pro League. They're going to have 3 games themselves. Actually, they're going to have 4 games. They've got a make-up game against Tahiti. So they're going to have 4 games in the space of 2 weeks over in Fiji, which doesn't sound like a holiday to me.
Yep. You know what? It's but as a club, they've taken it on. They've not complained about anything. They've got players through their system in the NPL. They've been exposed to it in an environment that will help the development and speed that through. And at the end of the day, you put the shirt on, you put the badge on your chest, and you represent the club. It doesn't, people are playing the club, so they've done really well.
Now Barney doing quite well there. Zulmani just comes off the bobble. And we may be about to see the final play of round 6 here at JVS Stadium.
I'm only laughing, I'm smiling, because I would love to have had a camera on the Thunder bench from 70 to 77 minutes, because the last 5 minutes after the third goal comes in, smiling, laughing, relaxed. It's been a really, for the coaching team, they'll be delighted. It's been tough this last 4 or 5 weeks, and they've come out tonight, and the players, with the changes and the injuries, have added a freshness, and they've delivered for Thunder tonight.
You see Dennis Martin going to send this. No, he hits the deck instead. Decides to send this one long. Sulmani finds Maniac again. He's been involved in a lot tonight. And that will be the full-time whistle at JVS Stadium. Dandenong Thunder with a crucial 3 points remaining here at home. The final score, Dandenong Thunder 3, South Melbourne 0. Gary Parker, your thoughts on this round 6 fixture?
First half, could have been anybody's. Wasn't really much real clear-cut chances, but second half, I think Thunder deserved it. I don't think Martins had any saves really to make in the second half. And once the 2 goals went in, there really looked only one winner. The first one, a mistake in the middle of the park by Angelatos. He was pickpocketed, played through to yellow. First touch was clinical. Second was even better. Killed it into that space. Second one, Romanovsky charged down the right side. Perkins made a cute near post run, crossover, simple finish for 2-0. And then, to put a cherry on the top for Thunder, contested the ball, ricochet, broke through, Soleimani was clean through, and it was just a clinical top corner finish for 3-0. 3-0 Thunder. It's their first win of the season in round 6. A draw in the opening game, 4 defeats back to back. But this win will just push them that little bit further up the table, and they can look forward to Bentley Greens next week, and then they've got real fixtures that they'll be looking at in Green Gully and Altona. So Adam Pinnock will be delighted tonight. It's been a big performance. It's been a workman-like performance. It's been a performance full of energy, grit and determination from Thunder, and they thoroughly deserve to win the game.
Yep, and from JVS Stadium, it has been Bryce Ruthven and Gary Parker taking you through round 6 of Senol NPL Victoria. Make sure you keep an eye on the social media pages of NPL Victoria throughout the week for Team of the Week and the ladder as it stands getting into round 7 next weekend. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. We'll catch you again next weekend for more football action.